let's talk about orcas. There's been some interesting shifts with orcas over the past, starting around 2020, but really accelerating recently.
Scientists are mystified over why killer whales are attacking and sinking boats off the coast of southern Spain. In other fish-related news, on Wednesday, a group of orcas slammed into a sailing boat, damaging the rudder and tearing a hole in the bottom. Take a listen to this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is a pod of orca attacking
Spanish
this
authorities
ship.
towed the ship back to port. Orcas sank 3 boats earlier this year, and there have been dozens of other attacks. Scientists say there could be multiple reasons for the strange behavior. One theory is that a female orca may have been traumatized by a boat collision and began taking it out on other ships. The rest of the whales then learned to follow suit. Blimey. Another theory is that this is simply a game that juvenile orcas are playing for fun. Either way, Spanish authorities are warning sailors to leave the area immediately if they see any strange behavior.
So that's one of the more recent ones. There was another attack that just happened 2 days ago. This pod of orca have sunk 3 vessels in the past few months, dozens of other attacks, and it keeps happening. And this last one was fascinating because it didn't just punch holes in the ship. It didn't knock it around. It very, very specifically was a targeted attack at disabling the ship, which is starting to make people wonder. But by and large, orca are incredibly intelligent sea creatures. One of the most functionally intelligent animals on planet Earth, to the point where scientists arguably debate whether or not they are self-aware and sentient. So what is their language? What is their learning? What is their community? They clearly have language. They clearly have community. They clearly have social structure. But where does this end? I mean, how much of what's going on in the orca head do we not know about? This is the most recent event here. Killer whale tears bits off boat in scary hour-long attack off Spanish coast. And it's just this one pod in this one area off of southern Spain. The sea animals, which can grow up to 8 meters long, broke the rudder and pierced the hull of the yacht Mustique as it sailed for Gibraltar. Orca severely damaged a yacht off the coast of southern Spain, the latest in one of a number of killer whale attacks on vessels in the area. And again, they're not called killer whales because they are whales that are killers of human. It's a mistranslation. I can't remember who. It may have been the Spanish or it was one of the older seafaring countries. It was like whale killers, but we anglicized it to killer whales. So that's what they do. What's one of the things they feed on? They feed on larger humpback whales and blue whales and things like that. So they're killers of whales. They're definitely apex predators, and you get these big apex predators fighting for the same sea space. But they're not known to attack humans. There's one. I mean, in the wild. There's always aquarium people that bite the dust when they start screwing around with things they ought not be screwing around with. But in the wild, there's one reported attack of an orca attacking a surfer, I believe. But they're now targeting boats. The pod broke the rudder. It didn't really break the rudder. It was a dual rudder ship, and it ripped both of the rudders off and pierced the hull of the Mustique while it was on its way to Gibraltar in the early hours of Thursday. The damage forced its crew of 4 to contact Spanish authorities for help, a spokesman with the Maritime Rescue Service said. The service deployed a rapid response vessel and a helicopter carrying bilge pumps to assist the 20-meter vessel, which was sailing under a British flag. British sailor April Boys was aboard the Mustique. This is the one we just watched. I'm sorry, this isn't the one. This isn't the most recent one. This was the one we just watched, the video we watched, because April Boys is on it. She's a big sailor. She was the one going, oh my God. So yeah, this is the story of the video we just watched. She was aboard the Mustique and shared photographs and video of the damage done by the Orca to her Instagram account. This is the hole they just pounded into the bottom of the ship. In one of the videos, she can be heard saying it's like they're biting it apart. She said later, what started off as a seemingly unique encounter ended with orcas breaking off our rudder from the boat, then proceeding to tear bits off the boat for an hour. A huge hole in the hull meant we had water ingress to other parts of the boat and the engine room, and I can honestly say that it was a scary experience. We're all safe. I'm feeling grateful for the Coast Guard. The Mystique was towed to the port of Barbate in the province of Cadiz for repairs. According to the research group GTOA, which tracks populations of Iberian orca subspecies, the incident follows at least 20 incidents this month alone in the Strait of Gibraltar between small vessels and the highly social apex predators. In 2022, there were 207 reported interactions, GTOA data showed. Earlier in May, the sailing yacht Albaran Champagne suffered a similar impact from 3 orcas half a nautical mile off Barbate. The ship could not be towed as it was completely flooded and was left adrift to sink. So we've got these, and they're not whales, by the way. They're part of the dolphin family. So they're not even whales. This is the one that happened just the other day. This was June 10th, 2 days ago. Let's bring up this story here. This story was from 2 days ago.
Arrancó el segundo. We lost both rudders.
That's the video from this incident. We don't want the videos, other videos start playing. Stop. There we go. A sailor who had been ambushed twice. Yeah, the guy we just heard on the video, this was his second attack by orcas. This was his second attack. A sailor who had been ambushed twice by the same pod of orcas say the killer whales are refining their strategy. This comes amid a concerning rise in orca attacks on boats along the Straits of Gibraltar, which separates Europe from Africa. Captain Dean Kriz is a delivery skipper with the company Reliance Yacht Management and has over 20 years of experience. He had his first orca encounter in 2020. I was sailing with my delivery crew and through the Straits of Gibraltar delivering a yacht when I was surrounded with a pack of 8 orcas, pushing the boat around for about an hour, Kriz told Newsweek. We were one of the first boats experiencing this very unusual orca behavior. Stills from the footage, the orcas caused significant damage to the ship's rudder, and Kriz and his crew had to be towed to the nearest marina in Barbate, Spain. 3 years later, on April 15th, 2023, I guess the story just broke 2 days ago. The orcas made their second appearance. While delivering a catamaran for the Catamaran Guru company, the same pack of orcas appeared out of nowhere, Kriz said. We were about to cross shipping lines and turn south to Canary Islands when we felt like we got hit bad with a wave. But with the second hit, we realized that the same situation from 2020 was happening. My first reaction was, please, not again, Kriz said. He advised the crew to stay calm and avoid interacting with the orcas. There's not much you can do. They're very powerful and smart. So smart, in fact, they seem to have developed their strategy since Kriz's first encounter. First time, we could hear them communicating under the boat, the captain said. This time, they were quiet, and it didn't take them long to destroy both rudders. Looks like they knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't touch anything else. Not only was the attack more targeted, but it was also more efficient. After about 15 minutes, they left, and we started motoring in the direction to Barbate. Suddenly, one big adult orca started chasing us. In a couple of minutes, she was under the boat, and that was when we realized there was still a little piece of fiberglass left, and she wanted to finish the job. After that, we didn't see them anymore. Now, why this is happening, the theory here is that one of these is a single revenge-bent female. I believe it was called Gladys. They named it Gladys. Has taught others to attack ships. They're speculating either she was hit by a boat or she was caught in a tuna net, because tuna is one of their primary dietary items. So it's not uncommon for orcas to get caught in the fishing nets for a bit. So either they think either she was rammed by a ship or been caught in a net or was somehow traumatized. And now she's getting revenge on boats, and she's teaching other orcas in the pod to attack the boats. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You know, they said they might be using their boat to teach their young how to hunt. And real quickly here, the last part of this very, very interesting story. Message time. Is why. And this is where we're talking about the this theory. They think a traumatized orca initiated the assault on boats after a critical moment of agony, and that the behavior is spreading among the population through social learning. Orcas have attacked and sunk a third boat, and 3 orcas, also known as killer whales, struck the yacht on the night of May 4th in the Strait of Gibraltar off the coast of Spain and pierced the rudder. The 2 smaller one, there were 2 smaller and 1 larger orca. The little one shook the rudder at the back while the big one repeatedly backed up and rammed the ship with full force from the side. The 2 little orcas observed the bigger one's technique, and with a slight run-up, they too slammed into the boat. So it's a learning behavior. They're teaching them to do this. And they said there was definitely some form of education going on. The reports of interactions have been continuous since 2020 in places where orca are found, either in Galicia or in the Strait. A biologist, this guy, Alfredo Lopez Fernandez, a biologist from the University of Aveiro in Portugal and representative of the Grupo de Trabajo Orca Atlántica, or just say Atlantic Orca Working Group for us non-Spanish speakers. That the Spanish took me off guard there. Hello, orcas. And this article just goes on and kind of repeats a little bit. They're saying it's a fad for these orcas to learn from each other, to get this new behavior going, where they're actually targeting people. So now we've got this rogue band, and there's only this one pod out of all pods on basically planet Earth that are doing this with the ships. And as they said in the article, it seemed like it stems from a traumatic event that one of these highly intelligent apex predator orca had with a ship, and is now triggering every ship it sees, or relatively every ship it sees, with this traumatic event, and is not only going after it for revenge itself, but it's also teaching other orcas. I thought that was just a very, very fascinating story, and it's something, if you're interested in it, to look into it and see what's happening. Make harpooning great again. Well, see, that's one of the other things. There's only 40 of this particular pod left on planet Earth, and weirdly, orcas are very, very tribal, very, very communal. I was watching something or reading something, I can't remember which, about there's sort of this rogue band of wandering orcas that have not interbred with other orcas pods for at least 10,000 years. I mean, orca are just absolutely fascinating. So something's triggered this pod to begin attacking and begin teaching other whales, other killer whales, other dolphins, other orcas to do this.